Taxi Driver.
Oh,
Christ.
man. Liam, do you like my look?
It's beautiful.
I'm going for the Travis Bickle.
It's beautiful. I even
New
see
York
a holster
City.
under there. It's perfect. Yeah. Gotta hide it. We got the briefcase full of guns over there.
We got
good to go.
We got everything. We went all out. Taxi Driver. We're talking Taxi Driver today.
Taxi Driver's a good movie.
Scorsese's. Are you a Scorsese guy?
I mean, never religiously, but now that I've been looking into more of his films, I can get down with it.
You
I'm
can
a
get
fan.
jiggy with
I'm a fan. Yeah.
with old Marty Scorsese.
No doubt, he's one of the greats.
Yeah, I mean, he's a film icon, obviously.
No
This
doubt.
film is like, film royalty iconry. Like, everybody talks about this Taxi Driver film.
Hey.
Had you ever seen Taxi Driver?
I had.
Okay.
At least I don't think. Maybe it was buried deep in my subconscious from
Yeah.
somewhere. But wasn't Scorsese wasn't he envious, or was there some friendly rivalry between him and someone else? I remember watching that. I also watched a little mini documentary on the Taxi Driver.
okay.
Yeah.
Look at you. You did your fucking research this time.
I looked up specifically the meaning to the ending of the movie.
Okay.
Because I was like, is that supposed to be a death dream sort of thing, or is
Yeah.
that supposed to be
Is he
literal,
actually
or
there?
through his eyes,
Yeah.
or what? Yeah. Do you know the answer to all that? Because
I might have watched the same documentary as you, because I saw a video where someone was talking about how Scorsese. Should we just spoiler alert? If you
go
haven't
for
seen
it.
Taxi Driver and you're watching the video where we're talking about Taxi Driver,
there's an issue.
Yeah, but I didn't Scorsese say it is real, he was actually there, and it's
That's what I got from that little documentary.
Yeah.
That apparently it is real, but it's
real.
from his perspective, right? Or
from Travis's perspective.
Or I'm sorry, from Travis's and the city's perspective, right?
Okay. Where it's kind of it's all just starting again.
Yeah,
It's not. It didn't.
yeah.
Nothing changed because of what happened in the movie.
Yeah, that was a theory as well. Apparently, they wanted to kind of do that, or someone wanted to do that somewhere in there.
Yeah.
What I got from it was that apparently this is him, the world has accepted him back into society, right?
Okay,
For
yeah.
example, with what's her name,
Betty.
Betty, yeah. She was a little more chill with him,
Right.
Towards the end there, and everything's getting kind of reset. And then I heard a little audio clip of Scorsese saying this is where the timer for the bomb is about to reset in his mind.
Yeah.
And you could see that in the mirror. But then I also noticed at the end, you're just seeing the the buildings, the street, right?
Right.
Of all the different movie theaters,
Right.
that sort of thing. But at the beginning, you were showing all the prostitutes and all the scum of the city, right?
Right.
He detested it, he hated it. But now he's cleaned it up, right? Now we can only see the cleaned up view of it. I don't know if that was just my interpretation.
Okay.
I
No,
don't know.
I get that. I can see that. Yeah. No, so I was doing some. I was also doing some research on the film.
Hey, look at it.
Paul Schrader, I believe was his name, the writer of the film.
Okay.
He said he had wanted to write a film about. I guess he was depressed or whatever, and so he wanted to write a film about what it's like being alone, being in a society that you feel you're outcast from.
Gotcha. A big city like that.
Big
where it's
city, not sleeping, gross
Gotcha. a taxi driver, because he's it's That could cover
someone
all,
who
yeah.
blends into society. Everybody sees the taxi driver,
but
nobody
no one-
suspects the taxi driver has thoughts or opinions or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just a piece in the part of society
Exactly.
that makes all the busy roads work.
Yeah.
But,
And Scorsese had wanted to make a movie he had also wanted to make a loner type movie about depression or whatever.
okay.
And so that's how he sort of found this script, and then they ended up, obviously making the movie together.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Everybody took a pay cut for this movie. De Niro took a pay cut.
Well, shit. Didn't know
Sybil
that.
Shepherd, who plays Betty,
Why is that? Just
they couldn't afford to make it. So
Damn.
yeah, they were like, hey, we want to make this movie, we can't afford to, so just not get paid as much, which is
Gotcha,
very noble, because I mean, it
made a
does.
good movie.
If you watch this movie and you watch The Irishman, which we talked about last episode,
The Irishman, I'm sure, had a huge budget, right?
it had an incredibly high budget.
Yeah.
It's one of these big Netflix movies.
Mm-hmm.
This, it looked like we could have made it. You know,
Yeah.
like I was watching this movie and I was like, it's weird how
In
sort of
the
like
camera sense, like the resources sense.
Yeah. It's weird how like experimental it felt while still like being a
professional.
narrative story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With like actors. And I mean, De Niro looks completely different in this movie than he does now.
Yeah, very, very much so. I didn't even know it was him at
Really?
the beginning. Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck?" And then it just set in. I remember looking at his face. I was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck?"
Like you could tell it's him, but it's
Yeah.
like he doesn't look. I mean, obviously he's older, but like
yeah. I don't know. He was a lot thinner back then.
he was.
I don't know. His mole is more prominent than
It
now,
was. Yeah.
I don't know.
He yeah, no, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking if Liam lived in like the big city, this would be like the Liam story.
Really? Damn. You know what? Everybody can see it. It's. I'm not going to pretend like it's untrue.
No, I'm just obviously that's some hyperbole on my part.
I mean, you know me, just trying to murder those politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I think like when we met, like when we were both like kind of weird loners who couldn't sleep at night, and
This is true.
just we never took it to vigilantism, but like it makes
At least
sense.
as far as I know, like I mean, that's your business.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Just yeah.
We won't get into that, but
We'll leave it be.
but it was sort of like I understand, with movies like this or Joker, which we've talked about, or some of the other movies that we're going to talk about, it's like it does sort of make sense to me why these types of movies have been so popular in recent years. They've had like a bit of a resurgence because in this like social media age, it's like everyone feels like a loner or like on the outside.
Yeah.
Except it's not like they're not driving through a dirty city. They're scrolling through their Instagram
Dirty internet.
and they're like looking at all these chicks, these hot chicks that they hooked up with, or these guys that they're making millions of dollars, and everyone sort of feels like they're on the
Just outside of that, it's
exactly. And so I think a movie like Taxi Driver could be made today, and it could fit perfectly into our society.
No doubt. I have thought about that. Have you ever thought about that? Like how easy it would be to just present your life as this grand thing on social media. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Anybody could fucking do it.
Anyone can do it, yeah.
Like you could be poor as shit. You could be a homeless dude, and you could make your life look grand as all hell on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it's all just fake. Don't get me started on social media, Liam.
Oof, we're going
Let me
down.
tell ya.
We're going down it. Back to Texas.
Back to Taxi Driver.
But yeah,
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like, it's interestingly shot. I think, like, I understand now why so many people regard this movie so high, because it is a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's really well made for the budget and for the era. I'd say it looks better than The Irishman.
Get you, yeah.
I'd take this over The Irishman any day.
Same. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot more than The Irishman. I thought I was gonna like The Irishman because I'm Irish,
Yeah.
and like I was like, oh, like cool, like a mob movie about an Irish guy.
Oh, good
Yeah.
sir.
Exactly, yeah. And then they just like they did that shit, and I was like, okay, all right, fine. Like I watched it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Liam, what do you think about Travis?
I mean, he's a go-getter. For
He
sure.
really is.
Yeah.
Like that's something about the Joker. Is the Joker was like he was depressed and he was low confidence.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, they're coming. They're coming for us. I don't know if
coming
that
for
picked
Travis.
up. Yeah.
There's police cars. If the microphones didn't pick that up.
But yeah, the Joker was low confidence. He was
Travis has enormous confidence. He's like
But
out
he's-
here just hitting on chicks. He's like, hey,
just going for it. Yeah.
hey, can I get your number? And he's fucking
Taking people to porn stuff.
yeah, like he's so confident for a guy who's just like so kind of low and depressed in society, and it's interesting to see. It's like
like that's just his learned behavior, you know, like he's like where he. Do you think he's aware of how out of touch with society he is, or
I don't think
like
he
at
is.
all?
It is kind of like because obviously he doesn't understand social cues. I mean, it takes a girl to a porno for a first date. He doesn't realize like
I
why
thought
that was
a
wrong.
Good decision, but
Obviously,
That was
that's.
just, yeah.
I mean, you're hanging out at the porno theaters all day.
I don't know what the problem is. But anyway, yeah.
But he it
He's
is
not
kind
aware.
of weird. Like it's almost like he's wearing a mask of like what society expects of him, but it's also like he doesn't really understand. I mean, he
which I feel like why like it did so well, right? Because I think everybody to a certain extent like puts on a mask for society,
Yeah.
right? Some people a lot more than others,
right.
but yeah, I don't know. I think that he literally had to do it in a sense, but all that was out by the end. He saved the city. He cleaned it up the scum.
He cleaned up the city.
Oh yeah.
He I have in my notes. He says whatever he can to get some pussy, because he was like talking to Betty, and she was like, oh, like I love this album, and then he's like, oh yeah, I don't listen to music, but I want to, and she was like,
I forgot about that part. Yeah.
she was like talking about the guy who was running for president, Clementine or something like that,
Something like that.
and he was like, oh, I don't know anything about politics, but I'm going to vote for him.
Okay.
And so, he just says whatever he needs to say
Yeah.
to get people to like him. And
Then he continues on with life,
yeah.
plotting and scheming, saving prostitutes.
Yeah. I mean, this was Jodie Foster. She was the little girl. This was her big breakout.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of a weird
Didn't even
real
realize.
life. No, you didn't know?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. This guy, John Hinckley Jr., or do you know?
John Hinckley Jr. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan.
Oh, okay.
And he did it because of Jodie Foster in this movie.
Damn, yeah.
Which is kind of weird if you think, because she's 13 in this movie, and he
that's fucking weird.
yeah, and he's in love with her, and he wants to win her heart, and so he attempts to assassinate Ronald Reagan, thinking he'd get some pussy. So I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
it's believable.
yeah, this movie. I guess when we were saying about the Joker that it wouldn't create any real life problems.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like all this stuff like could legitimately, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
like with this movie Taxi Driver, like they were afraid that it was going to start like this whole like race riot like sort of thing,
yeah.
right?
There was a lot of weird racial tension in the movie.
Yeah, because like that was his character, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, like he was supposed to be like this racist guy, right?
Is that so?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay, I didn't get that. There was a couple weird scenes where he just stare at black people,
Gotcha.
and I was like, why is he just staring at?
This is from the documentary part
Okay,
of it, right?
yeah.
Like I don't know how true this is.
Yeah, no.
As long as their credit was good, then. Yeah, apparently there was going to be the ending scene to the movie, you know, when he was rushing into that one place to save her. Apparently, like, it was just this massacre, like this racial massacre originally. Like, it was just this blatant, like, him just only killing black men, you know?
Okay.
And then they changed it because they didn't want to, like, start, like, actual issues in real life.
I mean, yeah, that's a strange ending to.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It's
that he just had these weird tint through his glasses. You know, he just saw everybody and everything through a unique and kind of fucked up perspective. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that this film was supposed to be like about
apparently I don't
racism.
know. But yeah, I don't know. Unless that was just like a woke interpretation of it.
Potentially.
I don't know.
Speaking of weird racism, you know, Liam, we made quite a few films in our tenure. It's still early in our
we have
filmmaking, repertoire.
a whole lot of racism.
But I'm saying that, we haven't, in the middle of this movie, Scorsese, the director, shows up in this movie so he can yell at De Niro and call someone the N-word.
This is true.
And then,
This is true.
talk about how he wants to shoot his wife in the pussy with a
This is
44
true.
Magnum.
Yeah. I mean,
We've never done that in any of our
he's a
movies.
simple man.
Yeah,
yeah.
make of that what you will.
How much could we get away with? You know?
we couldn't get away with that.
Not yet.
Oh, man.
Christ.
It's weird that Scorsese decided, like, he's going to take that role.
I don't know. Why is it like so okay for directors and writers and producers to like do that shit? You know, like it like there could be like some really weird fucking roles and then like they'll hop into it.
Yeah.
But it'll be okay because they're in charge of it.
Yeah. It did kind of seem like he was just he was just like, we're just fucking around. I'm just going to,
I don't know.
come in here and talk shit for a little bit and then head out.
It was fun. It was a fun part of the movie,
Yeah,
but sure.
that was like the catalyst, I guess the catalyst is when the little girl, I don't remember her name, Jodie Foster, initially tries to get in his car, and then she gets kind of pulled out.
Okay.
And then I guess the second catalyst is when Scorsese's in his car, telling him he wants to shoot his wife in the pussy with a 44 Magnum.
Gotcha. That could be it. Oh yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, it's fuck, man, it's a great movie.
It is. It is.
I mean, yeah, it's like he's a guy who wants to make change in the world. He wants to kind of make a name for himself. He doesn't know how to do it because he's like socially awkward. He might have been kicked out of the army. It's
Yeah. Do you think he was like that was?
I think it's implied or is said that he was dishonorably discharged.
Gotcha. I missed that bit.
Yeah, it might not have been in. I
mean,
might just be remembering it differently. But there's obvious trauma in this guy's life, and he doesn't know how to take hold of his own life, and so he thinks the best way to do it is going out and causing violence and
saving people. Like
Right.
that was like a good thing in his mind, right? Like that was.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is one of
That's
the
a ton of people.
One of the videos I saw about this movie was they were saying that I think it was the writer Paul Schrader who said this, that he was obsessed with this idea that Betty was this girl who had a father figure, which was the president guy.
Okay.
And when she leaves him, he thinks, okay, I'm going to take out her father figure.
Gotcha.
But then this little girl is being prostituted by this pimp. And so he's like, well, I'll save, since I couldn't save her from her father figure, I'll save this little girl from her father figure.
Yeah, gotcha. Huh. So it could also be like, I think I did see a little like post about that or something somewhere. Like, is it a comment on masculinity?
Right.
like that sort of thing. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah, this movie definitely,
We see what Andrew Tate thinks.
I mean, it'd be hard to now. He's in prison.
Alas. Would it be harder or easier now? I wonder.
I guess it could be easier. You just gotta, press pass or whatever. You can maybe.
No doubt.
But I mean, this whole genre of movies of like loner masculinity, like it makes sense why so many people are attracted to it, and it also makes sense why so many people don't like it because it's like sort of forming these toxic traits. That's like what everyone likes to say. But it's also like if that's how people feel, like if they can relate to these characters, it makes sense that they want to emulate them or feel like them in some way. Because I mean, a guy like Travis Bickle, he's like down on his luck. Nobody likes him. He can't get any girls. But he saves the day, and he's the hero of the film, and he gets to go run around shooting people and be celebrated for a hero. And so I think to a lot of people that's like, oh fuck, like I want to be like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of these movies, right? Like, I mean, it's like people trying to find their purpose, find their meaning, and like it's just like they'll see a movie like that and they'll connect to it. But if it, like a movie's not going to be good if you can't relate to it, right? And like all these great movies that are darker, like there's a deep level that some people can relate to, and whether it's good or bad, like. And that's kind of my problem with a lot of the like a lot of newer movies, where it just doesn't feel right, like with the comedy and just a lot of the stuff that they put into it. Where if it is like a piece of merchandise, right, like that they're just pumping out for money.
Yeah,
like no one's really going to relate to that besides children, maybe, who want to be like a superhero or something cool and fun.
Yeah,
like it's. There's nothing as much to relate to. Do you think that's a true statement or no?
No, yeah, I think that's definitely true, because it's like, you know, every kid grows up and they watch like the Ninja Turtles or the Avengers or the Power Rangers, and they're these big, larger than life heroes, and they want to emulate those heroes
because they want to be like that. You know,
but then when they turn 18, 19, 20 and they realize life isn't like that, it's like, okay, well,
the appeal is less so.
Yeah. The appeal becomes these guys who are, you know, these younger men. A lot of people like add sort of a racial thing to movies like this, where it's like, you know, white men who don't feel like they have power.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess that, you know, that argument could be made, but
I mean, I feel like they could do this for black people too.
Yeah, like this could be about anybody,
any race. Yeah.
Not even about just men. I feel like it could be about like anyone, really. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody has their own little unique viewpoint, but if you're a loner in society, right, like you're going to start having fucked up views. Like you're going to start being tainted. Like you're not going to be on par with everybody else. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in contrasting it to Joker, it's kind of, you know, Joker is like this kind of low in society guy who kills all these people, and then kind of the other low society people hold him up as a hero, but the rest of society is like, no, he's fucked up, we gotta lock him away. Whereas in this, it's like Travis is like a, you know, low in society guy, kills,
and everybody knows it and everybody agrees with that bit, and it's
except for the other people in low society. So it's sort of like the opposite, where Joker is killing the rich, Travis is killing the other scum, thus making himself, you know, higher than that,
elevating him.
But you know, it's not a permanent fix, because obviously, like you were saying, at the end of the film, he just goes back to it.
Yeah.
So,
rest in peace,
Liam. I guess this is our way of saying we're going to move to New York and become taxi drivers.
Hey, sounds like a plan. We'll research it.
Well, we'll make a new movie called Uber Driver.
Hey, there we go.
Dude, I would not see that movie. If someone made a remake of Taxi Driver called Uber Driver.
No, it would need to be Ubu.
Driver.
Yeah, there we go.
I would not see that movie.
No? You wouldn't do that?
Scorsese. Can you imagine what Scorsese would say?
You know what?
He'd probably call them the N-word.
Oh, Jesus. You know, he probably would. Oh, Christ. You know what, Joseph? One day, in secret, you know, once we've made it big, I'm just going to make a movie like that, you know, just for us, right? And then I'm going to see how it does. Yeah.
People would see it. I mean, this is sort of off topic, and it's we're pretty deep into this episode, but there's this, I don't know if you saw this Winnie the Pooh like horror movie.
I don't think so.
It was like a thing that Winnie the Pooh apparently is like out of what is it called? The rights, whatever the ownership rights.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's like public rights now, or whatever.
Yeah, everybody can use it.
So some people decided to make like a Winnie the Pooh horror movie where Winnie the Pooh like murders a bunch of hot chicks in a pool.
Okay,
and it's like,
I mean, it's just one of those movies, right? Like, I mean, it's kind of like Sharknado, you know?
Yeah, it's like they're just making it to make a bad movie, and they're marketing it like, oh, this is a horrible movie about Winnie the Pooh, and it's a horror movie, and it's so silly, and it's scary, and but it's not really scary.
Yeah,
and it's like, no,
there's no definition to it. You know, like it's
if you want to make a fucking Winnie the Pooh movie, make a Winnie the Pooh movie that's good and that people would want to see. Don't just make something that's fucking bullshit because you think like, oh, it's a meme.
Alas.
It's a meme to like do a Winnie the Pooh like.
Alas.
Fuck's sake.
Turning Winnie the Pooh into a crack addict and a rapist.
I'm turning into Travis, man. I'm losing faith in society.
Oh no! All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take the briefcase full of guns away from Joseph.
We're gonna end this episode here before I go full taxi driver.
Oof. No. He's got to drive home still. We're gonna watch him.
We'll see you guys next time.
Big peace.